Hey everyone, it's time for another episode of Getting to Know the Family. Welcome back to another episode of Getting to Know the Family, the show where we get to know you, the parishioners of Holy Family Parish in San Jose. I'm your host, Scott Thomas, and I'm here in our sacristy because my next guest, Frank Cirimele, has spent many hours in this room. The sacristy is where we store our sacred vessels, the vestments that the priests wear, the lectionary Roman Missal where we get the text for the Mass, the altar linens, many other things. It's also where our priests vest and prepare for Mass, and the sacristans prepare for the Mass and clean up afterwards. So, come along with me as we get to know Frank Cirimele. Well, welcome, Frank. I'm glad to have you on the show.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Let's start with some of the basics. How long have you been here at Holy Family?
Well, I started coming here in 1981, so 40 years this year. I've been here for a long time. I'm one of the long-time parishioners, and there's so many of us here that are long-timers and big here, and I came when the Jesuits were still here and made some wonderful Jesuit friends.
Okay, wonderful. Now, over 40 years, I know you've been involved in lots of different things. What are some of the ministries you've been involved in here at Holy Family?
Started off being a Eucharistic minister, and I did that for quite a few years, and I was taking communion to the sick. I was a couple times a week. I'd be going out and taking communion, especially on the weekends. Then kind of went a long lap there where I didn't get involved with any other ministries. But then Father asked me if I would become one of the sacristans. And so, and then he said, well, we really want you to lead the sacristans. So I became head sacristan, and then I I did some trainings. I put together material to do trainings and brought some new sacristans on board. And I was the Thursday sacristan for a long time, and then I became the Thursday lector. So I'm a lector on the Thursday. I'm still a Thursday lector, and I'm the lector on 11:15 Mass on Sundays, and I'm not every Sunday, but once every month or two, they sign me up to be a lector.
That might not know, what does a sacristan do?
Oh, the sacristan duties. You have to know this church. You have to know everything about it. You come in here and you assume that you're coming in, nobody's here, and you have to set up for Mass. You have to set up all the vessels for the altar. You have to set up, make sure that the colors that are here in the church, that those are right. If they're not, you have to change the colors. You have to become familiar with the sound system to the degree that you can turn it on and be able to shut it off. You know a little bit about it. You don't know as much as you know since you invented the system, but we know enough. And I certainly need to know that since I'm also one of the funeral sacristans. Dominic Wynn and I are the two that do all the funerals. And sometimes if there's a Vietnamese funeral, there's 25 people here that are there. There's a whole group, and they need to have different mics set up for them, and need to be able to set up all the mics, the stands, and hook up into your system, and and all of that. And certainly, yeah, you become very familiar with the sacristy, and you know everything in there. You know where everything is, everything where it's placed, all the linens, everything for setting up the Mass. And then when it's all over with, you've set it all up. Now you got to tear it all down. You got to clean all the vessels. You have to just, you become really one of the key people here for each Mass. So the sacristans have a really special duty to be able to be.
What have been the fruits of that labor of love for you?
Doing everything for him. I do everything for him. He's the love of my life, and every day I tell him I can't love you enough. I look at the cross when I do adoration, since that's one of the new ministries that I've taken on. That we have adoration from 12 to 3:15 every day, and I took on the responsibility that I would set it up every day, and I'm here for the 3 hours and basically 3.5 hours here, and I look up at the cross and I said the greatest gift of love I'll ever have is looking at that cross and seeing you there dying for every sin I'll ever commit in my life. And I says, I can never love you enough in this life, but help me today to love you more today than I loved you yesterday, and even more tomorrow. And help me when I take my last breath, that I'm on my spiritual mountain, that you look at me and you see there's nothing left in me except love. Any unforgiveness, there's not an ounce of unforgiveness left in me, that I'm ready for you. That's what I say.
So how did you come to faith in Christ?
Well, I had a single mom, and she took I have a twin sister, and she took us to Mass every Sunday. Okay. And she prayed the rosary. And I had my best friend in high school, Irish, and I'd go down and visit his family, at times go visit Tom and Tom Ryan. And I'd go, and his family, at 6:45 every night in Oakland, they had the family rosary on the radio. And the whole family would be kneeling. There would be 3 kids and the mom and dad. And I'd be in there and I'd be kneeling with them. And they introduced me to the family rosary. So I developed a great love for the Blessed Mother in high school. And kind of carried that through my whole life. I've always prayed the rosary. My mom, and she kind of taught us the rosary when we were younger. And so I kind of went through life. I always went to Mass every Sunday. But around 1985, I was working at Lockheed at the time. And a gal that I was working with, we were in the same division. She and I were talking one day, and I was telling her, I says, I need more in my life. Going to Mass on Sunday's not enough. And she was saying, I feel the same way. So in 1985, we both decided that at noon, we would go to the noon Mass at Our Lady of Peace. And so one week she'd drive, the next week I would drive. And I did that. Basically, I started going to daily Mass for the rest of my life.
Wow, okay.
And as part of that, there's a Third Order Carmelite community there at Our Lady of Peace. Mm-hmm. And I became a Third Order Carmelite. And that's the spirituality. It's the spirituality that attracted to me, but also they have a great love for the Blessed Mother. And so both of those were just, it was like, that's where the Lord wanted me to go and be part of that community. And so I was the director of the community for about twice, and in 2 different occasions for about 10 years. And so it was during that time I had to write a lot of different materials for monthly meetings and a lot of presentations and talks and the like. And that kind of prepared me for what I was going to do later on in life.
You were an engineer. You were telling me, you were working at Lockheed and other companies, and
then I
become an author here.
Then I became an author, but I also was teaching. I was a teacher. Remember, I was teaching at San Jose State. They called me one day and asked me if I would. I started off at teaching electronics at City College, San Jose City. They said, "Would you come and teach some microprocessor class and with the lab and the whole bit?" And I said, "Sure, I could do that." So I went over and I did that, and I was doing that for about a year and a half, and I got a call from San Jose State, and from the computer engineering department, and they said, "Would you have an interest in coming and being a lecturer for us here? Because we heard about your experience over there." And I said, "Yeah, I could do that." And so I ended up being there usually one evening class a semester, and for 25 years. Okay. I was lecturing, and all of this is kind of preparation, for many things in my life. But the Carmelite, and so when I was the author, 20 years ago, I was praying in the chapel by myself one day, and the Lord asked me to write this book. Okay. And I was astonished. That he was nice. He says, "I know nothing on this topic. Well, what's even the topic about?" And so I had a...
What is the topic?
Well, the warning that's going to come, it's a prophecy that occurred, and probably a number of different people have received it. I think the most prevalent one is in Garabandal, Spain, when the Blessed Mother appeared to the 4 young girls there and gave them 4 prophecies. And the first one was about the warning that in the future, God's going to stop the world, and everyone's going to be able to go through a mini video of their life from birth up until the moment of their illumination of their soul, and they're going to see whether their soul is heading in God's eyes. Is it heading towards salvation, or is it heading towards the other way? Is it heading towards damnation? Okay, and He's going to give us a chance to change our life, to convert, meaning, instead of heading this direction in our life, He wants us to head in the opposite direction, right? And so he asked me to write in here, and the book's about the people that could panic and be about that. What kind of spiritual guidance will they need at that point? That's what the book's about.
Okay. So does it pull on research from these other
all my experiences in my life and all that, I pulled from everything.
Okay.
Everything. And so God always prepares us for what he wants us to do for him. And I always pray to the Holy Spirit, and I says, Holy Spirit, these have to be, they have to be really your words through me. And so I consider it that I was his pen and the book, that he wrote the book.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
he inspired the book.
What are your plans with the book?
I'm not sure right now.
Okay.
I just finished it like 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
I just
Fresh
finished
off
it.
the press.
Yeah, fresh off the press. And so I'm trying to see right now where I'm going to head. I thought about it. One thing that crossed my mind was, I says, well, I was just thinking about contacting a printer and printing 10,000 copies. But I said, look at the limitation there. 10,000 people would get the spiritual guidance. So it can't be there. It has to be some website, some place where I could download the information. Anybody wants it? I've done everything for him. Everything's going to be free. I want people to be able to download it for free. One of my ministries in life is to save souls. And I want this to touch people to save their souls. Because I want everybody to go there and not go there.
I want to look back a little bit.
Sure.
You said you've been at the parish for 40 years. How has the parish changed over 40 years?
Well, the Jesuits were kind of unique, and Father Pat Doherty was, we became really, really dear friends. And I asked him one day because I never had a spiritual director. I says, Father Pat, would you be my spiritual director? He says, I'd love to be your spiritual director. And so, and so I would get together and, go in and talk to him about my spiritual life. And he would give me directions in my life, and so I became, and then Father Tom Foster, naturally he was charismatic. And so with James O'Connell being here, and so I went to the Spirit of the Life in the Spirit seminar here, that 20-week seminar that they had here in the community center, and now I'm charismatic, and I try to go when they have it, the charismatic convention on Memorial Day weekend. I try to go and praise the Lord. Everything's just people don't love him enough in this world. I mean, you look around the chaos that we see in the world, and so it's kind of I kind of feel like I'm trying to let him know how much I love him, and to know that there are people in the world that really, really do truly love him. Yeah, and so. But you were talking about, the Jesuits. They, I really, really like the Jesuits because they brought a certain spirituality, being a religious order. Because being a Carmelite, and I kind of felt connected to them, and when they converted over to the diocesan priest here, it was kind of a transition for me.
I'm sure it was a transition for the whole parish.
Yeah, it was a
very
transition, yeah. And so
And that was, when was that? Was that around 89 or something like that?
Somewhere around in there. Yeah, somewhere around in there.
Okay.
Yeah, and so was it Father Schwartz? I remember when he was the young priest that was here, the one that they found that he had died.
No,
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, I guess he was up in Oregon, and I guess his car had gone off the road and went down into an embankment.
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
Remember that, and they couldn't find it for several weeks.
I didn't know he was ever one of our priests.
Yeah, he was one of the priests there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember one day it was a funny. When they would bless the congregation, they used to use like a branch, and they would dip it in water and then kind of do this. And I don't know if you remember Olga. Olga was kind of a longtime parishioner here.
Okay.
And we were I think we were in the chapel, and Father Schwartz says, did we get enough water from the branches? Does it give us enough water? Stuff like that. And Olga just says, well, here, look. And she went like this at him, and she sprayed him, and we all cracked up. There was so much water still left in the branch. And I remember, and he was He was the young Jesuit
Okay.
that was here, and so he was really, really special, because I think that the young people related to him, being just a young priest, because some of the other priests were older,
Okay.
like Father Pat Doherty was kind of on his, he'd already been so he and I related because he used to teach at Loyola Marymount, and he taught science. He was in the science field down there.
Okay.
I think he taught physics, and so that's why he and I related.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
Your story about the branch reminds me. So we still have, kind of it's I don't know, a set of branches or whatever. But some of the parishioners over the years have called that the super soaker, and Father Paul Justin, before he was a priest, he did hospitality for the 6 p.m. Mass, and he was standing up against the wall, and I believe it was Father Mark Catalana. He loved using that, and he went to Paul and just doused him, and when Paul stepped away, you could see the outline on the wall. So extra blessing.
Speaking about Paul was was such a dear friend. The family. I really loved the family. So his dad Bill and I were really dear friends, and so we used to spend time. We used to pray together and the like. And so when Paul got ordained, I had a relic, a first class relic of St. Paul, and I gave it to him as a gift. I just said, "This is my gift to you." I says that you should have this gift of St. Paul the Apostle. So I gave it to him.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, gave it to him as a gift. Yeah.
So let's change gears a little bit and let's talk about your family. You have a picture here with your two boys. Why don't you tell me about your two boys?
Well, I have 3 kids. Okay. Greg's the oldest, the one here on the right, and then the girl Bridget's in the middle, and then Brian is over here. It's interesting how the Lord in our lives, gives us really special kids, and it's like they're the right children that they want us to have in our life. And none of my family goes to church, and so I pray for all of them. And so it's allowed me, for my three kids, to increase my prayers for them. And in the process of increasing my prayers for them, I start praying for everybody. I pray for lots and lots of people in my daily prayers. Lots of people. I always tell people I'm the prayer warrior in our family. I said I'm going to pray all you guys into heaven, and I tell that to all my family and friends, and all my buddies I grew up with. None go to church. So I tell them I'm going to pray all you guys into the kingdom. And they says, don't stop praying. I said, I'm not. I want to be there with you.
So I'm going to conclude today with questions I ask all our guests.
Sure.
Ask them the same set of questions. What is your favorite word?
Favorite one? Jesus.
What is your least favorite word?
Satan.
What turns you on? What gets you excited?
Right now, coming to adoration and spending 3.5 hours with him and telling him how much I love him. And I says, I can't, my love for him just in adoration right now has grown so much. I'm loving him so much more than I've ever loved him before in my life. And I attribute that to adoration. That's why I invite everybody, please come and spend time with him during these 3.5 hours that we're here. Please come. And that's just, there's, we start the rosary, we start the litany of the Holy Eucharist at 2:25. The rosary starts about 2:30, and then at 3 o'clock we start the Chaplet of Divine Mercy and goes until 3:15. And then I expose it right at noon, and then I repose it at the 3:15, the Blessed Sacrament. So I take the lumina out of that monstrance and put it back into the tabernacle.
Okay. What turns you off?
Probably my what I struggle with is patience. I just at times I get since my oldest son lives with me, and sometimes I get on his case, and afterwards I say some things, and I'm sorry that I've said them, and I keep praying. I said, Lord, give me more patience, but I always ask for forgiveness, and so I'm certainly learning to ask for forgiveness. And I think patience. I think that's the big thing. Yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
During adoration, I get around 2:00 before we start anything. I take a walk outside. I go out the side of the doors right there. I look at the tall trees in Murphy's Meadow right there. I close my eyes and I listen to all nature there. I hear the birds sing. And the other day, this was this week, I was there, and all of a sudden, I'm closing my eyes. All of a sudden, I hear this like beep, and I said, "He just said Jesus," and so I said Jesus, and he said it again, and I said Jesus, and we went back and forth about 15 times out there, and we're both praising Jesus right there. That really turned me on.
All right. What sound or noise do you hate?
When I'm trying to pray, when I'm hear a lot of noise around me and I'm not able to pray. Yeah.
Who is your favorite saint?
I have so many. Well, I love St. Francis of Assisi because my patron saint, but I also love St. Philomena. She's a saint that I've come to just love a lot. And actually, St. Therese of Lisieux, since she was Carmelite, you know, her little way. She had so much love in her. She'd pick a pin up off the floor and give glory and honor to Jesus. And I try to do that. I try to follow her in her little way.
Okay. What ministry other than your own would you like to attempt?
At Holy Family?
Anywhere.
But
here, you know, and no pressure. No one's going to give you a call. But
that's a good question. Well, I'd like to do more for him, whatever that is. I'd like him to lead me wherever. And that's why I say, Lord, in this life, wherever you lead me, I'm going to follow you. So whatever ministry he wants me to lead me to. But it's something for him.
All right. What ministry would you not like to do?
I don't think I'd like to do coffee and donuts.
Okay.
I don't eat donuts, and so I don't think, and I don't drink coffee, so I don't think that'd be a good match.
Okay. And lastly, what would you like to hear God say when you enter the pearly gates?
Welcome, my faithful servant. That's what I'd like to hear him say. And when he says, who did you bring with you? I want him to see all these people that I've been praying for all my life. I wanted him to be able to, St. Peter, to look out there and just say, oh, wow, you brought a lot of people. That's what I'd like to hear.
That's wonderful. Well, Frank, thank you for your time today, and thank you
You're
for
so
being
welcome.
our guest.
God bless you, and God bless this parish and everything that you do for it. I know that just, you know, I see you up here, and I've been praying for you and what you've gone through physically, you know, through the years. And, you know, I pray for you every single day. You're in my morning prayers. I pray for you. I single you out, Scott, you know, and in my days, and I'll never stop praying for you.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of Getting to Know the Family. I'd like to thank Frank for taking the time to sit down with me. And if you'd like to be part of an upcoming episode, contact Christina in the parish office. We'd like to get to know you too. Until next time, I'll see you in the pews, and God bless you.